Hello, welcome back to Fire's Gaming. My name is Ben, and today we're continuing on with Suzerain 2.0. So last time out, we had a meeting about changing the Energy Protection Act and decided to raise the limit for foreign investments up, as well as had a meeting in Lockhaven with all of our business council people. So yeah, let's go and let's pick it up here, because we've got a couple reports and some newspapers, so let's just start with the reports, why not? Alright, especially since there's only two of them. So, from Arvery, car bomb attack. A car parked in an Agnosaurus-dominated neighborhood in the outskirts of Arvery has exploded. Arvery police reported that there are no casualties or injuries. The initial investigation found that the car was rigged with a time bomb. No perpetrators have been found connected to the incident so far. Further investigations are ongoing and details have not been shared with the public. Fun. And Rebels, school poisoning connected to Brutish woman. Vilma Ossier, who was working at the school kitchen, was apprehended with connections to last week's school cafeteria poisoning in Ribble. The act was found to be politically motivated, as perpetrators are connected to the banned Brutish Freedom Party. Ossier is suspected to have been an active member of the Brutish Freedom Front since the start of this year. She's been sentenced to 60 years in prison. That is a ridiculously fast trial. If it was... The attack was last week. She's been arrested and already sentenced to 60 years. It's a ridiculously fast judicial system there. I don't know if that's a good thing or not. Alright. Anyway, we've got 4 newspapers here, so let's start off with the Whole Sword Post. Bill on the rights of workers being drafted. The Grand National Assembly of Swordland will vote on a bill on Thursday to protect workers' rights in Swordland that supporters are calling the most ambitious pro-labor legislation in decades, and which one USP representative has dismissed as the worst bill in the Assembly. The Workers' Protection Act has strong support from both PFJP and the NFP, as well as labor leaders. The bill is a result of a bipartisan effort from the leading figures of the PFJP, as well as the Ministry of Health, led by Pascal Bennywool. It was proposed to the Assembly by Representative Alban Glavin from the USP. The Workers' Protection Act amends the Labor Act by establishing a minimum wage of 2.5 Ren per hour and adding guidelines to overtime work, as well as safety and protection guidelines. It also extends the rights of the workers to all migrants, acknowledging their rights as workers in Swordland. The bill also makes it illegal for corporations to force workers to do unpaid overtime work. Companies who fail to abide by the rules established with the bill will be heavily fined by the government and may be forced to face legal action. Some estimates suggest costs for these firms would increase by 50% if they have to treat workers according to the proposed laws. Despite the bill coming from the governing USP, it faces huge opposition inside the party. However, with the support of the PFJP and the NFP, the bill has a high chance of passing in the Assembly. Fantastic. Alright. From Swordland Today, President meets with Business Council. Our sources have reported that yesterday, President Rain had a meeting with the Business Council behind closed doors in Lockhaven, which later continued with a dinner in a 5-star Asteria restaurant with leading figures from the council. The agenda of the meeting was not disclosed, and the contents of the meeting remain a secret, but it can be expected that President Rain has discussed the future economic plans of his administration, as well as listening to the concerns of leading industry figures. The outcome of the meeting will hopefully arrive quickly with positive developments and more transparency compared to today. Sweet. And we got 2 of them here from the Lockhaven Times. So, Morbell mine disaster, 112 dead. Disaster hit Morbell last night when one of the main support shafts in Morbell coal mine collapsed, trapping many coal miners inside. Collapsing structures also started an underground fire, turning the sky black with ash and sorrow in Morbell today. As reported by the government, the current death toll sits at 112 dead, with many other miners still trapped inside. The rescue operations are continuing without any sleep. Investigators have told us that this might have happened due to the neglect of the Neta mining group. Families of miners and the people of Morbell showed up in protest at the site of the disaster. Coincidentally, the workers' rights bill that was being drafted in the Assembly for the past few months comes too late. The eyes of Swordland are now turned to President Rain to see his decision on the bill. And Lockhaven League of Women March. Hundreds of women organized by the Source League of Women March to call for gender equality in the country. The group held signs highlighting the issues of domestic violence, the wage gap, maternity leave, and the sexist attitudes in the education system. Police forces quickly created a security cordon to protect the march after a large group of religious counter-protesters arrived. The calls for equality were drowned by the loud group of conservatives. The protests were a clear reflection of the division that surrounds the country. It also raises questions if the First Lady Monica Rain's agenda to raise awareness and trigger change on the issue will bear fruit. Fantastic. Alright. That looks like everything, so let's go over here to Whole Sword for the budget allocation. The preparations for the government budget were finished. Most of the cabinet gathered in the White Room for the important occasion. Nearly half a year had passed since my inauguration. The cabinet looked overworked. Let's go this one. Now the moment we've all been waiting for. It's finally time to discuss the government budget.
I'm quivering my lovers with excitement, Mr. President.
Geez, Simon, calm down, bro.
Sadly, Peter Vector, Gus Marjane, and David Vichy won't be attending this meeting. They're working on the upcoming trade agreements with Vale and Agnolia.
May the Lord be with them.
CR gave a barely disguised eye roll.
Did you just roll your eyes at me, young lady?
If I did, it's because religion has no place at a government budget meeting.
I was merely expressing my wishes for a successful trade deal. Freedom of expression must be protected at all costs, must it not, Miss Morgana?
Actually, in this case, I agree with Ms. Walda. Ciara flashed her an appreciative smile. Quoting Sutherland's laws regarding the separation of church and state. She broke off as she noticed that Simon, Lucy, and Yosef were looking at the three female ministers in stony silence.
Ladies, let's leave the extraneous chit-chat for afternoon tea.
I obviously want to go with the first one, but let's try not to piss the Lias off too much. So I refrained from making a comment. Simon started loudly shuffling some documents around. All eyes turned to the Minister of Economy. Yeah, there we go.
Well, let's begin, Mr. Hull. Gladly. Today is a big day. We must prioritize our spending wisely in order to achieve the goals we set as a government.
While maintaining enough political support, if I may add, promises were made during the election.
There are three options regarding the budgeting of the four main branches of government. It's either increase, maintain, or decrease the funding. Increasing will result in an improvement of the branch, which will unlock new policy options. Maintaining will keep the funding, resulting in no visible change. Decreasing causes a loss of efficiency in that branch.
Let's go that one. The problem isn't the amount of money spent, it's how efficiently we spend it.
It's true many of our policies could be far better implemented.
Our welfare systems are full of issues that need to be addressed, for instance.
We have to be careful as what we fund, so we have resources remaining for another investment project.
Yeah, I mean, reduction of funding in certain branches could help fund investment projects.
Yes, the bigger our budget surplus is, the more we can spend our reviving the economy. Before we begin our discussion, there's one more thing I don't voice my opinion on. As we manage the government budget, we can go into debt to invest in different branches. However, under these circumstances, it would worsen the economic crisis if we push it too far. It's difficult for us to raise debt with the currently unhealthy economy, but we can increase the amount of debt we take as the economy improves.
We should spend as much as possible to achieve growth.
A stimulating strategy could have positive political effects with increased support. Given the current state of the country, improving the economic situation is a political priority right now, more so than ever if we want to win the 58 election.
This budget will also be applicable to our entire term. It's very critical we play correctly. Let's begin then. Which branch should we discuss first?
Let's just go in order here and talk about healthcare.
Our healthcare system is vast and provides free services to most of our citizens.
However, the quality of our health services is far worse in low-income and rural areas. Therefore, I think we should receive more funding to address this disparity.
I agree. I've recently begun an investigation in healthcare in Arbel, and the numbers are not good.
If we don't increase spending on healthcare services, we at least need to maintain it, otherwise we are putting lives at risk.
We have just started a new analysis on what would happen if a pandemic struck Solon. According to the results, if our healthcare facilities remain in the current state, the death toll will be unimaginable. I'm not even talking about the damage to the economy. This is a matter of life and death, Mr. President, and it should be treated as such. We need to improve healthcare. What else are we here for if we can't keep our people alive? Alright, let's discuss law enforcement.
I would like to have an increase in the funding of law enforcement to increase the size of the police force and raise salaries. We have so many internal threats to tackle, and I'm already stretching my units far too thin with the limited resources that are allocated to me.
Nia cleared her throat.
Law enforcement is certainly a high priority. However, I feel tackling internal corruption is of far higher importance than increasing our police presence. Directing the funds to my department would solve the problem at its root. If corruption is so rampant, all the police in the world can't help us. We need a specialized anti-corruption police unit, which we could create if the funds are redirected to me. I agree with Ms. Bogner. We should not reward a structure that is responsible for an ever-increasing number of human rights violations. Additionally, corruption is the reason of our government inefficiencies and needs to be tackled. The police are there to serve and protect the people of Solden, Miss Walder, and that is exactly what we are doing. More funding will allow us to take care of our police forces. It is quite a simple choice given the current status of the country.
I must also remind you that we promised to focus on security and law enforcement during our campaign.
Yeah, I agree with Lucien. We can't just go back on our promise to the people. Alright, how about the military?
Listen here, but I already voiced my opinions. Rumburg is coming whether we like it or not. Not this year, next year. If not next year, the year after that. Mr. President, you and I have a shared responsibility to protect this nation from its enemies, and I intend to do so until my last breath. I will say this with certainty. If Rumburg doesn't make a move against Solden in 2 or 3 years, my name is not Yusuf Lancia.
Yusuf was beginning to lose control of his voice.
There can be no argument against increasing the budget for our army when there's an enemy on our doorstep waiting for us to make one wrong move. Enemy thinks otherwise is a fool.
Mr. Lancia.
Right, pardon my tactics, sir, but this is a serious matter. The future of our country is up to you, Mr. President.
Well, here's an argument. The armed forces does nothing but eat away financial resources destined for our people while still confused for an upcoming war. The issues with Rumburg can be solved diplomatically. What kind of message are we sending to them and the whole world if we suddenly start ramping up a military budget? That we are ready to defend our nation, Miss Walder.
Exactly.
Yeah, I agree with Ciara. We need to be as diplomatic as possible. And speaking of Ciara, what about education?
Our education system is lacking, not only in funding, but also modern curricular principles. Our outdated curriculum is wasting our youth. This is the reason why I advocate 2 things. Increase the budget to improve access to education in rural areas, and a new education reform. To be honest, Solden is lacking compared to our colleagues in United Cantana when it comes to education levels, and the backbone of any country is its people, and we need to protect our future. We need to ensure the new generation is as well educated as their counterparts in more modern countries. Nonsense! Solden is still here because this very system that you insult. How can you insult a system that teaches our sons and daughters the principles of national identity and pride? We won't be compared to other countries. Solden is Solden.
I agree, Lily. Solden is Solden.
Yeah, no, we're not going to agree with the weird nationalists. I'm going to agree with Ciara. It's high time we invest in education and act reforms. Alright, well, I made up my mind about the budget. We can proceed.
Very good talking points from everyone. Well then, time to make a decision on the budget has come. Consider it with care, Mr. President.
Simon placed a stack of papers on my table. I turned the first page. Cool, alright. So, basically, my plan is to boost everything but the military. Because as long as I don't screw something up, we're not going to go to war, so I don't really care about the military. Although we do have to be careful so they don't decide to, coup us or something. But anyway, point is, we're going to... Oh wow, I went from 0 to -3. Interesting. Oops. Okay. Well, whatever, it's fine. Anyway, we're going to increase healthcare. Increase law and order, increase education, and decrease the military. Oof. That's gonna hurt, but it's okay. Yes. I had finished allocating the government budget to the satisfaction of some cabinet members and the dismay of others. They and I knew this would define a significant part of our term. Yeah, we have a deficit on our hands. We'll need to resort to debt to finance future investments. This situation can have adverse effects if we don't strike a balance.
Agreed. Well then, let's start law enforcement.
Me and Lilius were both smiling.
Thank you for this decision, Mr. President. I knew you'd see reason on this, considering our channel security threats are at an all-time high. I still disagree with Ms. Groff on how the money ought to be spent, but the increased funding is certainly a step in the right direction.
Any statements on the matter, sir?
Well, I'll go with that one. Law enforcement's a key branch and needs a greater budget due to the increased threats and needs for security.
We'll make good use of these new resources and fight crime, terrorism, and subversives. Justice will be served in this nation, having more support is a step in the right direction.
Let's hear the Minister of Education.
Ciara was eager to comment.
The increase of funding is very welcome. We can finally go after some comprehensive improvements by building new schools and improving the education system. Surely a well-funded and large Ministry of Education will benefit everyone. Our future depends on our children. Education is the first step in the fight against ignorance.
Your expertise and passion should enable you to make the necessary changes for improvement.
I'll be able to achieve my grand goals with these new budgetary resources.
The military is next.
Ciara clearly wasn't finished, but didn't interject. Yosef chimed in.
This is a disgrace. America's at our doorstep. The armed forces have launched this promise. This is a grave mistake we will surely pay for in time.
Lucien seemed as if he was about to say something, but looked down at his notepad and Yosef eyed him. I mean, I'm sure the military has a bloated budget anyway, so let's just suck up to him a little bit. With your talents and expertise, you'll overcome the issue with our military faces.
It'll be harder to do so, but I shall find ways. It is my duty.
Yosef leaned back in his chair.
Now, let's hear from Mr. Bennywall.
Thank you, sir. This health budget increase will help me to focus on improvements, so our people will now be safer than ever. I am also planning to tackle issues like a lack of rural hospitals and the recent worrying numbers of maternal deaths.
Well, that must have made a priority for our chairman. There's no other way around it.
Healthcare is very important for us, and as we move forward, it will improve drastically.
It feels invigorating to have the weight of the government behind my goals. That covers all branches. Each minister will approach with their respective policy requests and expectations over the next year.
Thank you for your time and participation in this significant moment, and the meeting is concluded.
Thank you, everyone. I appreciate your time and effort. The ministers bid their farewells, some excitedly, others dejectedly. The cabinet slowly dispersed out of the White Room. The budget for our term was concluded. Fantastic. Oh, geez. Don't do that. Alright. We had at least one report, a couple of newspapers, so let's check those out here before we move on to the next turn. Alright, so yep, just the one report from Molesword on the Reform Committee stats report. Lucy and Glad reported that so far they have been able to get, in total, 87 signatures behind the proposal. Efforts are underway to increase the support and to reach out to the necessary members. Fantastic. Alright, let's see. So in our country overview here, decreased funding for the military, which is giving us decaying combat readiness, military interference in politics, outdated military equipment, and discontent military personnel. That might become a problem, but hopefully we'll be able to remedy that as we go. Let's see, in the economy, we've got a consistent economy, so that's pretty good. Welfare, we have increased education funding, increased health funding, and a relieved health welfare system. So that's pretty sweet. Alright, we got two newspapers here. First up from the Whole Sword Post, the 1954 Swordish government budget. After a marathon 18 hours of negotiations, the Swordish government budget for the current term has been finalized. The government envisages spending around 40 billion red next year, almost 20 billion more than this year. The 1954 budget sees the first measures for more internal security being introduced. Although the details of the allocation of the increased security funding is not yet clear, it is expected the Ministry of the Interior and the Ministry of Justice will benefit from the increase. Minister of the Interior, Mrs. Groff, has expressed her gratitude for the increase in the law enforcement budget, saying this increase will help us bring and maintain the peace we've all been waiting for. Additionally, the Ministry of Education and the Ministry of Health, two of the smaller ministries in Sortland, will see their budget grow more than expected, which will especially improve the quality and the accessibility of welfare services around the nation. Mrs. Walda and Mr. Bennywall have expressed their gratitude for the increase in the welfare budget, saying that this increase will help everybody in Sortland. Cool. And from Sortland today, cuts to the military will help the economy. Swordish armed forces have always asked for a bigger budget to maintain the military's ability to respond to problems, and they are usually compensated by the previous governments. The election of Tarkeen Sold military budget has gone up and up ever since, thanks in part to an economic revival that began during his rule. The current economic crisis, however, is far deeper and will likely last longer. President Rain has seen that the Sword's General Staff and its overseers of the Grand National Assembly are coming up with the military's budget requests routinely, but the demand for it is never justified due to the military services growing accustomed to a lenient attitude toward giving them whatever they wanted. Finally, a reduction in massive military spending comes during the country's economic meltdown. President Rain has already approved the reduction of the defense budget, which can be used to invest in the economy, which Swordland desperately needs. Despite criticisms from the Ministry of Defense, we believe that this decision will help the economy long term, as the already capable forces of Swordland are no longer overfunded. Cool beans. Alright, let's get on to the next turn here. Ooh, better yet, on to the next chapter. It's Chapter 2, A New Swordland. Alright. Jeez, there are just ton of reports here, a bunch of newspapers. So, yeah, why not? Let's just start with the reports here. We got 7 of them, apparently. So, first up from Benfey. Benfey Regional Airport overcrowded. We have been receiving reports about the capacity of Benfey Regional Airport. Mayor of Benfey is preparing to put a request forward to an investment to build an international airport in the city. For a touristic region like Benfey, he claims it would increase the overall prosperity of Swordland. Alright, from Urzarin, massive network of BFF priests discovered. Virgin Special Zone Security has reported the discovery of a large-scale religious network of the BFF that encompasses all cities in Burja. Under the guise of state-sanctioned priesthood, the BFF has recruited hundreds, possibly thousands, of Golcondas worshippers to join the militant group and converted hundreds of nerdy worshippers to the sect of Golcondism. Dozen arrests were made, but since most police officers don't speak Blutish, it will be difficult to find the actual ringleader priests of the network. Many requests were made to ban Blutish's language from sanctuaries. Governor Braun also requested Golcondism to be banned as a religion. Lockhaven, the central bank released a strong budget deficit warning. The Central Bank of Swordland issued a damning warning regarding the extensive government budget deficit that has occurred in the first year of the administration. Potential consequences of irresponsible economic management were highlighted. Edith Agonok relayed that a large deficit could have dire consequences on the strength of the currency and could hamper the potential of the still-to-recover economy. Yeah, that's a potential problem, but I think there's enough things coming up that we can bounce that back up just enough to avoid the meltdown or trade war or whatever it is. Alright, from Laren, military equipment outdated. The General Staff has performed an analysis on our borders to assess our military defensive capabilities against a potential Rumberg attack. The results show that our military equipment is outdated and needs replacement as soon as possible. Continuation of the warning report shows that in the event of an attack, our border will be broken through easily, leaving the primary regions of Swordland exposed. Coolio. Alright, from Narbel, education in rural regions require improvements. Ciara Wolder reports that the current education institutions in rural regions of Swordland have been largely neglected. As part of our analysis, the literacy rate in Swordland currently stands at 80%, while rural regions like Narbel have a literacy rate of only 64%. The lack of schools per capita also reflects these results. Fantastic. Alright, so from the Republic of Agnolia, offshore drilling near Helgi increased tensions. Agnolia started a new oil drilling operation very close to the disputed territory of Helgeland. The tensions increased when the situation turned into a standoff between Volksanian and Agnolian warships. It took several hours for the gridlock to be resolved, but the situation was de-escalated for now. Alright, from the Republic of Morela, an unidentified object spotted close to Canali border. Security agencies in Morela have reported sighting an unidentified object close to the Canali border. The object was flying at a high altitude and at very high speeds. Currently, there is no clarity on what the object could be or its potential implications. Some intelligence officers indicated that the sighting could be a potential CSP low-orbit satellite. The Morelan authorities are working with their Canali counterparts to investigate the matter further. Cool. Alright, looks like all the reports. So, let's hit up the newspapers, because, geez, we got 6 of these. Alright, from the Whole Sword Post, an unusual encounter. Former President Sol's open hospitality. In an unexpected encounter, local fishers were invited for tea by none other than former President Tarkeen Sol himself. This seemingly ordinary exchange revealed a side of Sol seldom seen in public life. His humble and warm hospitality, even after his tenure, shines a light on the strong community spirit within Duru Island. The incident underscores how Sol remains a figure of interest in public eye, influencing society beyond the confines of politics. Alright. And one more from the Lockhaven Times here. 54-55 season ends. FC Gelsor claims the league title again. A thrilling conclusion to the 54-55 season of the Source National League, football enthusiasts witnessed a remarkable display of sporting excellence. After months of fierce competition, FC Gelsor emerged as undisputed champions once again, cementing their status as a force to be reckoned with in Source football. Throughout the season, FC Gelsor showcased their unwavering dedication and formidable skills on the pitch, securing an impressive series of victories that left their opponents trailing behind. The star Gelsordian striker Hakon Brenner once again claimed the top scorer of the league. Meanwhile, FC Anarka, the valiant runner-ups, put up a strong fight until the very end, displaying their own brand of thrilling football, but couldn't manage to remove the 11-point difference between them and FC Gelsord. FC Arvery and FC Holsord both ended the league with the same score, finishing as the 3rd and 4th place respectively, only 2 points behind FC Anarka. Coolio. Alright, now we have 4 papers here from Geopolitico. So, United Cantana's Congress addresses the State of the Union and revolutionary expansion. That's definitely new. From Kiao, United Cantana. United Cantana recently hosted a massive Congress, bringing together representatives from all states to address the State of the Union and discuss a significant political decision concerning the concept of permanent revolution. United Cantana, a vast union of socialist republics spanning across the continent, is known for its rich tapestry of diverse cultures and traditions. The Congress, held in the nation's capital, featured the unique traditions and customs of various states, including Konantanya, Kiao, Kaidu, Zoltek, Ausitol, Yerzistan, Sovaria, Chimoltenango, and Kinalta? I have no idea. Participants expressed pride in their heritage while demonstrating a strong sense of unity under the governments of the Communist Party, led by Chairman Leon Melenev. Oh, good lord. Shavatonga Kunua. Yeah, we'll go with that. I think Chairman Melenev is much easier. During the Congress, Chairman Melenev proposed a revolutionary destiny doctrine, a policy aimed at promoting the idea of permanent revolution, supporting social revolutions in nearby states with early-stage capitalism. Senators from each state participated in a vote to determine the future course of the nation, ultimately passing the doctrine and signaling a new era of internal involvement for United Cantana. The Congress served as a powerful reminder of the importance of unity in the face of global challenges, highlighting the strength that comes from embracing the diverse cultures and traditions that make up the fabric of United Cantana. With the adoption of the revolutionary destiny doctrine, United Cantana is poised to become an even more influential force on the world stage. And Prime Minister Alvarez of Lesbia visits Pales, offers support amid tensions with Rizia. In a show of solidarity, Prime Minister Alvarez of Lesbia visited the Grand Duchy of Pales and its leader Axel Reinhardt to affirm Lesbia's support in the face of mounting pressure from Rizia over the disputed gas fields. As part of the ATO alliance, Lesbia has offered assistance to Pales in resolving the ongoing gas field dispute and maintaining regional stability. During his visit, Prime Minister Alvarez proposed several measures to address the situation, including joint exploration and development of disputed gas fields, establishing a neutral arbitration panel, and promoting economic cooperation among Marcopan nations to reduce reliance on the contested resources. He also pledged Lesbia's commitment to defending Pale's sovereignty and territorial integrity if the dispute were to escalate. The visit has sent a strong message to Rizia, warning them against further aggressive actions and encouraging a diplomatic resolution of the dispute. However, it remains to be seen whether Rizia will accept these proposals and engage in dialogue with Pales and Lesbia to reach a peaceful settlement. Cool. Alright, then, let's see. Vogslanian Navy forces Agnolian drill ship to retreat from Helluland. Helm Vogsland, Navy Chief Admiral Kurt Hexer, on Tuesday said an Agnolian drilling ship was driven away from Vogsland's exclusive economic zone in the Nermanlander Sea recently, asserting that such activities will be dealt with swiftly and sternly. The ship entered the area without Vogslanian Navy's prior permission, they said. The illegal occupation of Helluland does not give Agnolia the right to claim our seas. Our stance has been that if you do anything in our region, you have to notify us or get our permission, the Navy Chief said at a press conference, without elaborating further on the incident. Since 1950, there has been a permanent presence of the Vogslanian Navy in the Markian Sea region, mostly in the form of an anti-piracy force. Experts are concerned about whether Agnolia's increasing forays are in Helluland, which they believe may trigger a heavy response from Vogsland. Alright, and last but not least, Arcasia fires M4 ICBM. Dwight Walker's announced the first successful Arcasian intercontinental ballistic missile test, which was conducted at a military test site at the New Ulm Atoll in the middle of the Oceania. The fired missile, codenamed Missile 4, flew several thousand kilometers towards the direction of Nakatana before crashing down at sea close to the abandoned radioactive Rossad Island. The missile test indicates that Arcasi wants to send a message to United Katana about island bases in the middle of the Oceania, while displaying that the Arcasian military technology has advanced. Arcasi will be able to catch up to United Katana in the face of growing tensions, in face of the growing contentious situation between the superpowers. Nice. Coolio. Alright. So, looks like we need to head to Whole Sword here. Make a decision on the Workers' Rights Act. Alright, so, Workers' Rights Act. Section 1 of this bill sets the groundwork for fair compensation by establishing a minimum wage of 2.5 Soros Ren per hour. This serves as a benchmark for fair and equitable pay, ensuring that no worker in Swordland is compensated below this rate. Section 2 addresses the issue of excessive labor, setting a maximum limit of 60 hours of work per week. This provision aims to prevent worker exploitation and safeguard the well-being of the Source labor force. Section 3 introduces the concept of double overtime pay. This stipulates that any work performed beyond a 40-hour work week will be compensated at twice the normal hourly wage. This incentivizes fair work practices and ensures employees are duly compensated for their extended efforts. Section 4 focuses on worker safety and humane work conditions and mandates that all employers must take all necessary steps to protect their workers from occupational hazards and ensure a dignified and safe working environment. This promotes a culture of respect and care within workplaces across Swordland. Section 5 extends these protections to migrant or undocumented workers, granting them the same rights as Sword citizens. Employers who fail to abide by these rules will face substantial fines from the government, persistent non-compliance will invite legal action. Cool. Alright, well, this is going to hurt, but we kind of have to do this. So, we're going to sign that. Cool. Alright, that brings us a couple newspapers. But, quite honestly, I feel like that's as good a place as any to call for today. So, as always, thank you very much for watching. I hope to see you all next time.